Hey, y'all, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast, where live music and great stories take center stage. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Teton Guitars. Whether you're picking tunes around a campfire or taking the stage at your favorite honky tonk, Teton Guitars delivers rich, soulful sound built for the journey. Learn more at tetonguitars.com. Now let's dive into some music and memories. Hey, music lovers, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast. I am here with Mr. David Starr.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's good to meet you. We're here in Red Lodge, Montana at the Songwriter Festival, and we are at the Buses of Yellowstone Preservation Trust, which Mr. John Mueller is one of the guys who takes care of these beautiful buses and this beautiful facility.
What a cool place, man.
It is way cool. And I just love old stuff.
Yeah.
And my wife loves old stuff because she still loves me. So how about that? David Starr is originally from California. No. I knew this. I did my research and then I screwed it up.
Northwest Arkansas.
Arkansas, that's right.
Not exactly California.
It's close.
I was born and raised in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that part of the state was a pretty magical place back in those days because we had Walmart, Tyson Foods, JB Hunt Trucking, a lot of smaller poultry startups. So that part of the state now has gone from, when I left there in 81, 100,000 people to 600,000 people or whatever it is. So
wow,
it's a very, very busy place. But I grew up around a lot of good music is what I was getting at.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, and I think it's all relative. Music is regional, right? So it depends on where you're at. You're in the South, more blues, more Memphis influence, right?
Yeah, I grew up listening to top 40 radio and classic rock before they called it that. You know? All the British stuff, all the American stuff. And what would happen in a town like Fayetteville, where we had a university, we'd have all these bands coming through from Tulsa and Memphis and Dallas and St. Louis and whatnot. So we were exposed to some really good cover bands from the big city, you know. So that caused us to up our game. And there was a local band there who still performs some, although they're slowing down, called the Cape Brothers. And they had a big hit in 1976. Steve Cropper produced an album on them, and the song was called Union Man, and that went to 24 or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And so they were kind of a role model for, one day they just said, we don't do covers anymore. We're doing all our own stuff. And we went, wow, you can do that? So it gave us kind of a green light to up our game and write, you know.
So you left in 81 at how old? How old were you then?
I would have been 24. I moved to Aspen, Colorado.
Okay.
Lived there 4 years. My child was born there. Difficult pregnancy. We got through that and moved back to Little Rock, Arkansas, where I was for 17 years. And then in 2001, moved back to Colorado for good, a little town called Cedar Edge, Colorado, on the western slope.
Okay. Nice area.
Still not California.
God, I don't know. Do you know how many people I've talked to?
You
trying to remember all this stuff. I apologize.
You remembered where we were. That's the main thing.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of artists that they can't remember where they're at, what city they're in, so they put it on a piece of tape on the steps as they go up to the stage. We interviewed a kid. He's a kid to me. He'd be a kid to you. But you talk about the British invasion in the early 60s.
Yeah.
But do you remember an artist by the name of Roy Head?
Yeah.
Roy Head, we just interviewed his son, Sundance Head, who was the winner of American Idol. He was on American Idol and The Voice. He won The Voice.
Okay.
He won The Voice. He was on American Idol in 2006, and in 16 he was on The Voice and won The Voice. But his dad, Roy Head, had a hit. I'm trying to remember the name of the song, but it was number 2 behind Yesterday.
Wow.
Treat her right. You remember that song?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Roy had, and that song, according to Sundance, that song has been cut like 3,000 times. Wow. What a song. But anyway, timing, you talk about timing, right? Timing's everything.
Sure it is.
You have a great hit like Treat Her Right, and it comes in right at the same time. Yesterday.
Well, that's pretty good company to be in. So,
that's great. And it was number 1 for quite a time before Yesterday took took over the number one spot.
Did not know that.
But no, Sundance Head is a very talented young man. Probably one of the strongest vocalists I've ever heard.
Well, it sounds like he did well on both of those shows. So,
yeah, he did extremely well. He said he didn't know what he was doing when he went to to American Idol, but he said by the time he got back for The Voice, he knew what he was doing.
He knew how the game was played.
He said, he said, I knew how to play the game. And he said, and I knew within the first 2 weeks that I was going to win it, that I could win it.
Wow.
So he's very strong vocally, incredibly talented guy. I went and watched his show the other night and blew me away. I mean, I'd listened to his stuff and I'd seen him live. Actually, we'd seen him live a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But never made that kind of impact on me.
Well, live is where you get to really, that's been my thing. I like singing in the studio and all, but there's just nothing like singing live. You're making contact with people in the audience. You can feel the air around you. It's or at this altitude, the lack of air around you. I had pneumonia about 5 weeks ago, and I noticed just hoofing it down here earlier, or hoofing it up the street rather. I was like, okay, still got a little work to go on that.
Did you, how far, did you drive over or did you fly?
I drove. That's my motorhome sitting out there.
Oh, okay.
Blocking traffic.
How far a drive? How long a drive?
It's 10 hours. I drove, and I love to drive. So I drove, first day, I just drove 5 hours up to Rawlins, Wyoming.
You couldn't have picked a better spot to visit than Rawlins?
Well, it's halfway, Byron. So
I just got to give you a hard time.
I am not going to beat up on Rollins.
I'm not going to beat up on Rollins.
I was disappointed because there's a good Mexican restaurant there, and it was apparently closed on Wednesdays. No. It's the one with the big heavy furniture that they built all this furniture out of cedar trees and stuff, and I don't know how old people like us can move those chairs around. But anyway, so I go to Rollins.
Them in place.
They're heavy. Anyway, somebody didn't do them a favor, but drive to Rollins. Then I drove on in here. Yesterday. I like driving. I drive all over the country, and just my third motorhome. I actually use them. You see a lot of people with a little motorhome, and they put 1,000 miles a year on it. I put 30 on.
Well, we want to find one of those but we want to find one that they've put 1,000 miles on a year for 10 years, and then they want to sell it for a third of the price.
Sure. Well, I'll keep my eyes open.
Yeah, because Miss Shanda and I do a lot of driving too. So we called this musical miles for a reason.
I understand.
We've done every interview in person.
Yep.
And we have traveled from Shelley, Idaho to Montana to Texas to Oklahoma to Kansas to Nashville. Now,
why don't you come to Colorado next year for our songwriter festival?
I will. You let me know when it is.
We have one. It was 2 weeks ago. We're on our second one, and one of the beautiful thing about putting one of those kind of festival like the Red Lodge, which they do a wonderful job.
Yes.
One of the things about starting your own, which we did 2 years ago in the little town I live in, is I played enough of these that I kind of know what works and what doesn't, and how to. And I would say Red Lodge is one of the best ones, and we've borrowed some stuff from them, and so.
Well, Mike has been so gracious, and I would love to come. I would love to come, and we were more than happy to come. You let us know when it is, and we'll be there, and come and help you promote it, and we'll help promote it beforehand.
Wonderful.
We have we're helping do one in. There's one coming up in Vegas. I don't know if you know that. 50 songwriters.
That's too many.
350 number one hits. It's big.
Okay,
that's a
whole nother animal.
It is a whole nother animal, and it's promoted and produced by Eversong, which is has a whole. Those guys,
sure,
right?
Sure.
So,
that'll be great.
So we went to Nashville and helped went out and interviewed the Rob Hatch and some of those guys that are promoting it. So, but we're more than that's what we're about. We're here to help you promote your festival if we can.
In addition to doing what I do, I'm on the board of the Grand Mesa Arts and Events Center, which my wife and a group of people helped start. It's a nonprofit event center. For several years, they've gone, well, you do these songwriter festivals and you go play at these things and you seem to have fun. Why don't we do one here? And I said, well, I know all these people. Kaylin's been there. A number of these people that we'll see this weekend have been there. So we'll be in touch.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. We're happy to do that and help promote it. And because we want to, the more we're exposed to it, the better it helps us, right? Helps our podcast. Sure. Because and people don't, if you have not experienced a songwriter festival, you're missing out.
Well, good example. We have in our main facility there, 150 seat performing arts area, and an art gallery on the other side, and some offices and classrooms and stuff. And so for months leading up to our first one, I would ask people, we'd have 150 people sitting there, and I'd introduce the show or whatever, whoever was playing. I'd say, how many people have been to a songwriting festival? We'd have 3 people raise their hand, and I went, uh-oh, we're in trouble. We sold it out the first year, and I had people at the end of the first round come up to me and go, I get it now. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
We trusted you that it was going to be cool.
Right.
This year, same thing. It's like, well, we like this,
Yeah.
And there's such, the thing about booking one of those, and I don't book myself. My job is to herd cats.
Sure.
Know? So people like Kaylin and
right.
Andy Sidow's been there, and people like that. So we'll have some of those people. There are people from Nashville come, people from California. Had a guy from London the first year that I'd met. As much as I like to play, I love being a part of something that promotes the musical community, which is what you guys are doing.
Well, and we, because of our experience with these songwriter festivals, we want to host one in Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls is an area that really ought to be able to embrace a songwriter
I agree.
festival.
I used to stop there when I'd go through it.
Downtown, and you've been to Chesbro's.
Yeah.
And Chesbro's is a partner of ours with the guitars.
They're good people.
So they're good people. We're right downtown Idaho Falls. There's lots of little small venues like here. There's 2 or 3 theaters downtown.
Part of the key to doing it is a small town or a sort of an area. Like our little thing, we have 6 venues, and it's no more than a half a block to any one of them.
Yes.
So people can split up and go and do what they need to do. I got a little itchy watching everybody play at our own festival because I was ready to get out and come to this one and do it. And it was just 2 weeks ago when we did ours. So I'm glad to be up here and get
to play. And glad to know about that. Someone else had mentioned it to me, so I'm glad to know that. So
good.
You get me the information.
I got your email.
We'll get everything lined out. Next year we'll be there. So, because we're finding with us and the podcast is that we prefer to do these than go to a big. And we talked. We went to Country Jam last year. We're used to going to the Braun Brothers reunion in Chalice, Idaho, which has 3,000 people. 3,500. And they have some great artists come.
Sure.
And we've become fans of lots of bands that we had never heard of or seen before. And this year they have an incredible lineup, and we'll be there in August. But those big festivals are too big.
For me, it's all about scale. I was talking on another cast about this to somebody that I saw they had aired it. As much as, I've opened for some big acts and played to 8,000 or 9,000 people. Does that feel good? You bet.
Sure.
So yeah, I like this. My friend Eric Stuckey and I, who are playing here at 2:30 this afternoon in Red Lodge, we opened for America. We've opened for Jim Messina.
I saw that.
Full houses. I mean, is that fun? Yeah. But what I do more than anything is play to 40, 50, 60 people in a room like this one we're in, where they're up close. I can look them in the eye.
Yeah.
And they connect with the songs. They hear what I'm saying, and I get to set up a brief story about how this song got written, And I don't want to go on too long about that because I've been to rounds where people talk for 4 minutes about a 3-minute song. You don't want to do that.
No.
But you want to give them a little backdrop.
But you want to know. I want to know the backstory.
Yeah.
And I want to know. We've been lucky. I mean, we've heard this. We got to hear stories from Django Walker talk about Jerry Jeff and his experiences with a lot of those great songs, Townes Van Zandt and Ray White.
Now, I will say that my wife and I have been married for almost 12 years now. And the first few months, she started following me around doing this at house concerts and small venues and listening rooms. She said, you sounded good tonight. And I said, thank you. But I could tell there was a but coming, she said, but when you're telling these stories, it's not the same every night. And I said, that's why they call it storytelling. She said, well, one song, you'll do the same song, but the story's a little different. And I said, that's because I look out there and I see maybe somebody of a certain age or somebody of a, there's something about it that you personalize the message. But I said the bottom line is still the same. So I'm not sure she bought that or not, but we laugh about it because she didn't want to question me, but she was like, "Really? Is that how you?"
But you got to know this, and I know this because I'm a little bit of a bullshitter myself, right? I can tell a story.
I wasn't going to use that phrase, but
you can use it because it is a podcast. It's, Shanda likes to kind of keep it family friendly, but anyway, but in storytelling, the story's always evolving, right? So even in music, and even back in the day when music started, before it was written,
sure,
it got passed down from farm or ranch or cowboy to.
Well, and I tour in England and Scotland and Wales every year, and we get introduced to some of those folks over there that play that actual old English and British folk music, and I've heard the stories like that. It started out as being about one thing, and over time it evolved over a 300 or 400 year period. It can be whatever it needs to be.
Well, and I tell everybody, it's like the game telephone. When you're a kid, you start, but by the time it gets to the other end of town, it's a whole nother story.
I've actually got a song I've been working on, and I haven't finished it yet. It's called "Bad Game of Telephone."
Oh, I love it.
Which is about stuff going around that ought not go around. Which is we could go on about that these days.
Well, let's talk real quick. I know you've got a show.
I do.
Let's talk real quick about your music. So you have cut 10 albums.
10 or 11, 12. I've got one that I did with a band that I was in several years ago. I've got a duo record with one fellow back in Arkansas, another duo record with Eric that I'm about to go play with. So, yeah, quite a few albums. I was just on the phone with the fellow that owns the record company, Quarto Valley Records. My newest album is called Must Be Blue.
Okay.
And with that one, we went straight ahead and said, let's do a blues record. Because I grew up playing that stuff. I love the Americana thing. I love the folk thing. I just love music. And what I've tried to do is not box myself into just doing one thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm easily bored and want out of that box. So this new album's called Must Be Blue. There are about half covers and half original tunes on it. And it was a lot of fun to do. And even though I still play mostly as a solo or a duo, we can still do the tunes because Eric that I play with, first time we ever played together, I said, do you play blues on the mandolin? He said, let's find out. And
I love the mandolin.
And he does. He's
a
killer mandolin player and a good songwriter as well. So he and Mike set it up so that I have a even though we play 30 times a year together, we have a round today, just the two of us.
That's awesome.
Hardly fair, but we know each other's songs.
I wish we had time to go see it. We're trying to catch up with everybody.
Well, you're doing what you do, man.
Listen, will you do me a favor and play us a little bit of something on that Teton guitar, since you're a Teton dealer out there at Starr Guitars.
Stars Guitars.
Now, Kalen tuned that, so it's probably screwed up because I didn't.
No, let's see here. Close enough for rock and roll, as they say.
There you go.
This is a song called Night Rolls Around. We'll do a little of this. I was in the coffee shop one morning, and this fella said, "Good morning," and I said, "How you doing this morning?" He said, "Another day, another shot at mercy." I said, "You don't mind if I borrow that?" Another day, another shot at mercy. One more chance to get it right. So many questions when the answers are few. So many people looking for the light. But the sun's still shining outside. Well, I'm still along for the ride. And if I play my cards right, I'll be here when the night rolls around. There you go.
That's awesome. Thank you. Put your autograph on that baby for me.
All right.
That's probably the first Teton you've ever scribbled on.
Well, it is, but they're good people and they make a nice instrument.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, man.
Well, I want to thank you.
It's a lot of fun. I love what you're doing, and I want you're welcome to come down to Cedar Edge, Colorado, anytime.
Let us know. We're trying to get all our schedule lined out and let everybody know where.
It'll be about this time next year, but not this weekend.
Sure.
So, cool.
No, we look forward to it.
All right.
Hey, thanks again.
Thank you.
For Musical Miles Podcast, I'm your host, Byron Duff, and I'm here with Mr. David Starr. We are in Red Lodge, Montana at the Buses of Yellowstone Preservation Trust. Thank you for letting us be here. We really appreciate it. We'll see you somewhere down the road. Adios for now.